Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Aidan Sullivan and I'm the Vice President of Photo Assignments at Getty Images. Behind every image there's a story. Whether that story is told by a Getty Images photographer, filmmaker or editor, one constant remains: the passion we share for all types of imagery. For the next podcast in our ongoing series, co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Getty Images, Jonathan Klein, talks with award-winning photojournalist Brent Stirton. Brent joined Getty Images in 2002 and is based out of New York, although you'll rarely see him in the office. Brent is one of the most dedicated photographers I have worked with. He's on assignment an average of 10 months of the year, often spending weeks at a time embedded in remote corners of the world. He approaches his work with a true passion and is renowned for his humanitarian efforts. He tells the stories of his subjects in the most powerful and respectful way possible, ensuring their stories are heard and immediate action can be taken. He has received numerous awards for this extraordinary work, including recognition for his iconic images of the murdered gorillas of Virunga National Park in Congo, having won both World Press Photo and the Overseas Press Club Award, and more recently, the 2008 Visa d'Or at the premier International Festival of Photojournalism, Visa pour l'Image. Through his imagery, his work ethic, and his devotion to his career, Brent has proven to be one of the most respected and prestigious photojournalists in the industry today, and it's a real pleasure to work with him.
You've become known as a giant humanitarian. You're also known as an extraordinary photojournalist. When you were a little boy, were you interested in being a photojournalist?
No, I was interested in being a doctor.
Well, paradoxically, what you do is not a million miles away from what doctors do. You assist in that you communicate for those who cannot communicate. Do you see your role that way?
Humankind continues to suffer, continues to be in a precarious position for the majority of the world's population. That continues to be a mystery for me. You know, we should be at a point in our civilization where these things are not happening. My job is an ongoing investigation into my own understanding of that, and trying to put that out there and see what the powers that be can make of it.
So why don't we talk a little bit about that gorilla photo? Let's talk about Congo.
We went to Goma on the Rwandan-Congolese border, and we were expecting clashes with some of the paramilitaries in the area. That was one of the reasons we were there. And on the third day, we heard news of these gorilla killings. We trekked through the forest for 4 or 5 hours, got to the place, and discovered the bodies of 3 dead females. Now, there's only 680 of these creatures left in the world. They are very close. They're incredibly close to a point where biological reproduction is an impossibility. It got dark pretty quickly, so we had to hike back out into the forest and come back the next morning, where we discovered the body of the silverback, which is the subject of the picture, has been recognized so much.
You went to do the story because the rangers were so extraordinary. So it was a people story. Then we also know that the Congo has probably seen more carnage of human beings in the last several years than practically anywhere else in the world in terms of pure numbers.
Well, the Congo is 5.4 million dead since 1996.
And yet the image which got so much recognition, and appropriately so, was about a gorilla. Mm-hmm. Or was it about a gorilla?
We feel some sort of affinity with these animals. It's just a particular human quality to these animals. Yes. But when you're talking about 680 very rare creatures who are completely innocent and are savable, then I think people feel a degree of possibility. They're reminded of all the creatures that have come before and are now extinct as a result of our irresponsibility. Maybe those are some of the reasons why people related to this picture.
When we first met, I asked you, what you see as the most significant issue in the world, and you said water.
When I said that water is the most pressing issue of our time, I think I still believe that. We haven't looked after our water resources sufficiently to guarantee that for the future. And as populations continue to expand, we just don't have enough. So it's vital that we conserve what we have. There's so many issues that are related to water that are surprising. In the course of photographing HIV, I was in Zambia. I went to a small village where a young woman, a 17-year-old woman who was actually a schoolgirl, brought home in order that she could die with her parents. Her mother and her aunt wanted to bathe her for the last time. And I was very moved by this. Afterwards, I went and looked at the water source. It's polluted, it's not clean water, it has a number of bacteria and impurities. And the truth is that AIDS is all about, the collapse of an immune system. So when you have a water system, which the only water you can guarantee access to is something which is helping you to die faster, that just made me think, I should pay more attention to the water issue. I mean, water is also a huge gender issue. You know, the vast majority of the world walks to get their water. That's something which is gender-based. The women do that work.
Yes.
So that precludes them from education, it precludes them from access to private enterprise, it precludes them from access to the political system in their village, in their communities. Water consumes the lives of, you know, we're talking about a couple of billion women here. You know, it's a huge, huge issue, which just because it's normal doesn't mean it's okay.
One of the great things about the work that you've done around the communication of the HIV/AIDS is that the dignity and the hope and the future is inherent in your photos, even in the photo of that woman being bathed. And that comes out because of who you are.
Jonathan, I like feeling, yeah. I think that as journalists, you can go too. It's like you either feel more or you become jaded. And I would hope to feel more.
You've got a lot of awards recently, and there's a lot more in the future. Do awards matter?
Yeah, they do. They allow you to talk to certain people which you wouldn't have had access to otherwise. They allow people to take you seriously. And I think that's the function of awards.
Brent took some photos a couple of years ago of a particular baby, and those were the biggest selling photos in history.
A couple of years ago, I met Angelina Jolie because of the AIDS work that I was doing. When the time came for the most famous celebrity couple to have their own child, there was obviously enormous attention on that moment, and she decided that she would cooperate with Getty Images. The money that was raised would all go towards a charitable foundation. Ultimately, I thought, well, I can shoot great journalism for a long, long time, but there's no way that I can make as much direct change as the kind of money that this would raise.
Thanks for the time in doing this interview. You're certainly one of our heroes here at Getty Images.
Thank you very much. It's a mutual feeling. This company does a great deal in terms of putting money back into photojournalism and also into relevant issues. And the reason I work for Getty is because they've continued with their commitments to the issues that I came to them with. So thank you for that.